How do you like to cool off during the summer? Are you a lake person, an ocean person, or a pool person? Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to work on the project recipe for um, the new collection that just came out called Poolside Paradise. And it's super cool, as you can imagine. Um, I'm actually, I love to listen to the ocean, but the sand gets everywhere. And I love to look at a lake, but or be out on the lake, but I'm not so great at swimming in the lake because I did that once when I was a kid and a fish like swam by my leg and it eats me out. But I'm a pool girl. I really enjoy being at the pool. So, and swimming. I'm a floater. Are you a floater? I float super easy. So swimming is hard, but floating is easy. So that's what I do. Comment. Would you comment and tell me what you are? Are you a pool girl? Are you a lake girl? Are you an ocean girl? Let me know. I love the sights and the smells of the ocean. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started on this project recipe. It's a cute one. All right, so this is my workspace for today, and as I mentioned before, the Poolside Paradise project recipe is super cute. Look at it, it's just darling. And I'm super excited to bring this to you. I had to make a couple of modifications though, and this never happens, so I'm really not sure exactly what happened, but I did notice that there was a lot of what looks to me like unnecessary paper being used here. So I am going to attempt to, I made some adjustments and I'm hoping that as I put this together that it will all make sense and we won't have any issues come up. Well, we'll see. And in the process of making some adjustments, I actually was able to eliminate an entire piece of designer paper. So I don't know exactly why it was written up this way, but let me just briefly explain, and hopefully it makes sense to you. So in the sample that they have shown up here, you can see that their base page that they've used is this water paper, this aqua blue, looks like the bottom of a pool paper, which is super pretty. And that is the base paper. And yet, as we get down here to the sketch indicates that this paper in the peach, which is represented by the base page in the photo, it's saying that it's actually cut out of this paper, which is totally unnecessary from what I can determine. And in addition to that, this green piece that's right here is indicated that it's this gigantic 9.5 by 12 piece of paper that basically would go from this point over on the layout, and there's no reason for that when we are adding paper on top here and this is the base paper. So what I did was I moved these two mats down to the green sheet and eliminated these two pieces, and by doing that we don't even need this designer paper number 1. So that's the way I'm going to attempt to put it together, and if I am wrong and they are completely right in the way that they did theirs, then we'll find out. But I just really felt like we were kind of wasting more paper than we should be. So let's try it, shall we? We are going to use Poolside Paradise because that is the collection that this cute layout was designed for, and we are going to use this cute new punch, which is called Bubble Scallop, which is highly appropriate because it looks like the suds from like a bubble bath or I don't know, your dish water or something. I mean, you could use that for so many things. And when we punch this, it's worthwhile to note that when we punch this, all these little circles you need to save because they use them, and we use them in this layout. So don't get rid of your punch confetti that comes out, okay? Just a note, a word to the wise. I'm not going to go through all of the stickers and embellishments that come along with this or mats, but they are just super cute, and I hopefully you have this already in your stash and you're going to use it, because look at this. I mean, there's a drink cart, and there's a I can't remember, a charcuterie board, a couple of different kinds of them. There's an umbrella, there's floats, there's hats, just super cute stuff for the pool. So really a fun collection. I've pulled these two that look a little bit like tiles that are kind of loopy from being under the water. And these are going to be our base pages that we're going to use. These have oranges and limes and lemons and cherries on the back, but I'm not really into the fruity drinks, so I'm not really worried about using the opposite side for my base pages. So those are going to be my base pages. We're going to cut the following 3 pieces of paper. I've got one of those beautiful aqua colored pages like they used as the base in our sample here, and I've got this one that has a bunch of the drinks and watermelon and fruit and stuff on it, and bubbles on the back. This is the one we are going to be using both sides of. The yellow sheet right here is the one we're going to use both sides of, I believe. Yeah, that's right. And then this blue, it will be represented by the green. And for cardstock, I'm using Island Waters because it really complements this really well. It's one of the 5 bubbles on the front of the paper pack, indicating that this cardstock matches the colors in this collection perfectly. So I'm excited about that. So we're going to jump in here and just cut several of these pieces up. So let's turn this over to our cutting guide, and I'm going to just go ahead and start with my cardstock because I just think that's going to be the easiest. So we're going to cut, I'm just going to cut these mats for right now, then we're going to come back and we're going to punch after we've cut the rest of our pieces. So we're going to cut a 4-inch piece. We're going to turn that and cut it at 6. All right, and I have to push down my little cheater strip because I bent it accidentally, and so now it likes to stick right up. Kind of crazy. All right, so that's the 2 4x6s. Now we're going to cut another one at 4 inches, and we are going to save this piece to punch. This piece we are going to cut at 6 inches again, and then cut again at 4 inches. Okay, so there are our mats, and this little piece is just extra. So we'll set it over there off to the side. All right, now the water paper. Our water paper is paper number 3, or the green right here. So I'm going to cut a piece that is 4 inches. And this is going to be a couple more mats. These are going to be 4 inches squared. So we're actually going to end up with 3 4-inch mats out of this. And if we want to, we'll see if we can fit all 3 of them into the layout, or if it's just better to only do the 2 that the layout recommends. We'll see. All right, then we need a piece that is 1.5, so I'm going to measure this at 1.5 over here on the right hand side of my trimmer. So there's my 1.5 inch strip, and then I need a piece that is 5 by 12. Okay, so 5 by 12. Let me tell you, I agonized over redoing this and trying to get new math sizes for this because I have never had to do this before. I don't know exactly, like I said, whether I'm off the rails because it doesn't make sense to me or if it truly doesn't make sense. So we're just trying it and we are gonna see. Okay, so I need a piece that is 2 by 12. Now let's check out where that piece is gonna go. Piece J, it's gonna go here, so it is vertical. That's what I wanted to double check, is to make sure that my pattern in my paper is going the right direction. So we're going to cut a 2-inch piece here, and that actually, we're going to flip that particular piece and use the other side. See how it says reverse right here? Then we need a 4.5 inch piece that we are also going to flip over. So measuring to 4.5, that's going to be this side. Then we are measuring, we're going to cut these 2 1/2-inch pieces here so that they can be done, because it's harder to cut a tiny piece from a tiny piece. So we're going to go with that. So there's our 2 1/2-inch pieces. Now the rest should be 4.5 inches. Let's double check it. I'll line it up on the cutting line. Ooh, for sure, 4.5 inches. All right, very good. It's actually a tiny bit off, so I'm just going to trim it to make sure that everything is as lined up as I can make it. I'm not sure why. Whenever it starts to sound crunchy like that, that's my sign to myself that I need to flip my strip. So I'm going to grab that strip and I'm going to flip it over so that we are to the 4th. This is the 4th flip, so I'm going to need a new strip in just a little while. Okay. So now I am still reasonably certain that is 4.5 by 12, and I'm going to turn that on its side and cut a 4.5 inch piece off. So 4.5 inches square. All right, so there's that one. And this one is then 4.5 by 7.5. All right, so those should be all the pieces that we need, except that we are going to be punching. We're going to be punching and we're going to need to trim that. So we're going to grab our punch and our extra cardstock that we set aside. We're going to go ahead and punch both sides of this. So just going to reach in here. We're going to punch and slide our way across both sides of this piece of cardstock. And if you're not familiar with the CM punches and you're not sure how they work, there is a video that will tell you all about it. I would love for you to jump over there before or after you finish this one and watch how that's done. Okay? So here we go with the other side, and this just allows me to not have to get my trimmer out like twice. I can just punch it and get them out. Or get it out in a minute. Alright. And remember, we're not going to get rid of these little dots. We're going to save those. But I can get rid of this stuff. We don't need that. So set that in the garbage and set these aside to be gotten to in a little bit. I'm going to close that punch up and grab my trimmer one more time. And these are going to be cut at 1.5 inches. What that means is that I'm going to slide my punched piece of paper. I'm going to line it up on the shoulder, either at the top or the bottom, and I'm going to slide it until that the top edge of my punched piece reaches 1.5 inches. Okay, so when this piece, which is the highest peak of that, is at 1.5 inches, then I can trim that off. Okay, so there's that piece. And I probably didn't have to flip that, but that's okay. All will be well. Okay. Alright, so that piece is extra. Here is our bubble piece, and now we should be good to go to assemble. So I'm going to grab one of my base papers. Fingers are not sticky enough, or they're too sticky, I don't know what. Okay, we're going to start with the left hand side of the layout. I'm going to grab my permanent adhesive. We're going to need repositionable as well for this, but for right now we're going to grab this. Okay, now I need piece I, which is this piece, right? It's the one that says reverse. Yep. So it's this piece right here, and this is going to go right against the edge. So this is 4.5 by 12, and it's this piece right here that says reverse. Okay, so we're going to put our adhesive down each edge, and then we're going to, I'm just going to go ahead and use this edge because I can see it better. It's closer to me. I'm going to put that right up against the edge of my paper. And done. Alright, then I need the green piece K, which is the 1.5 inch piece. It is this one, 1.5 by 12, right? So this one, and I love the inner tubes and the sun glasses and hats and bubbles and towels that are on the back of this. I just couldn't do both. It would have been way too busy in my head to do that one plus this one, and I couldn't. I tried flipping it around and using it in a different place, and I don't know. Anyways, I'll use it somewhere else, but we're using this for now. Alright, so that's these two pieces. Then we need piece M, which is our bubble piece. I'm going to grab my repositionable adhesive. Okay, we're going to put this, line this right up with our water. like that. Now, here's where it gets a little bit dicey. Piece E, which is this 1/2-inch strip that we cut, that can be this 1/2-inch strip that we cut that goes over the top of that. Or you could use a sticker. You could use one of the 12-inch stickers that comes in with the pack, which would be kind of cool to use. And I think it looks like they used this sticker right here in the sample. So you could use a sticker, or you can use a 1/2-inch piece from that second designer piece that we cut. Or let's see. I just want to see what this might look like if we used this one. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I don't know, it might blend in a little more than we want it to the water next to it. What about this one? That's kind of cool too. And that, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Trying to think. Sorry, give me just a second here. I am just trying to see what my options are. Alright, I think I am going to use these, and I'm going to put this right over the seam. So you just sort of place the seam down the center of the sticker. The seam being where those two papers come together. All straight up like that, okay? Then we have a piece that needs to go horizontally. That's piece H. And piece H is this one. And if I put it horizontally, then all my drinks are sideways. But I could put it this way, and we could just have it be bubbles. What do we think? I think I like that, but just because I'm on the fence, I'm going to put just a little bit of repositionable there, and we're going to just stick it on here temporarily, okay? So this one goes right straddling the center line, so we're going to put it at 2 1/4 inches from the center line, and then it will be centered on the page. Okay, for now I'm just going to let it be, and I'll look at it again in a minute. Let's work on the page for the right side for the time being. Alright, so this page on the outside is going to be just a little bit tricky to start, only because we need to measure. And maybe that's why they did it the way they did, so that it was not as tricky to get it started. I don't know. But basically, if you put your paper on a mat like we've got it, you are going to give it 2 1/4 inches before you start the wide piece of paper, which is this one. Okay, our water paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on the back. And we're going to start this at 2 1/4 inches. So we're going to measure 1, 2, and then 1/4, and put it down as close to a quarter as we can. Okay, so there's our water. And then the next thing that goes on there is our bubble paper. So bubbles. Nope, wait a minute now. This is meant to be on the reverse. So this piece is meant to be up. I seem to do this a lot. Okay, so let me just pull off this adhesive I just put down. Bear with me. All right, let's try this again, shall we? We're going to use repositionable this time, just in case. Okay, and we're going to make sure that this is going the right side up. And then we have bubbles that need to go down. Again with the repositionable adhesive. Oh, unless you run out of repositionable adhesive. I'll get some more in a minute. This one's going to go right here on the edge. And then we're going to get that other 12-inch sticker. And put that down right over the top of that seam right there. Just like that. All right. So far, so good. Okay, now we're going to take two of our 4x6 mats, one of our water mats. We could do that one the other way. Or we could just do it like so. All right, and then these other mats go on the other layout, or the other side of the layout. So let me grab the other side again. We've got one of those that goes there. And then these two, which are meant to go here. I believe that's right. Actually, no, this is supposed to be bubbles. Okay, that makes more sense. Because the blue, or the, that's supposed to go right down in the middle, and this one is extra. So we're going to set that over there. That makes more sense. All right. And then this is actually meant to cover a corner of this photo. And be lined up something like that. So, and I like everything about that except the fact that this paper is only represented on one side because we covered it, or we chose to flip it over on this side. And I could flip it back. We could flip the this one over. Is it going to be, you know, horrible in the grand scheme of things? Well, probably not. Will I notice? Yes, I will notice. I could cut a little bit of that and add it on to the end just so that we don't notice as much. Maybe I could do that. Act like it's a mat and add a little more water onto the side. I might do that just because. Yeah, I like that better because then we get the darker blues and the colors represented over there. Okay, so let's get the rest of this kind of nailed down. I'm gonna grab my permanent adhesive. I'm gonna line this up again and find the middle because I've moved it all around. So like that. Just centering it. And we're going to center this guy. Well, no, we're not going to center this guy. We're going to place him so that he's centered between the top and the bottom and has the same amount of cardstock on this edge. Then we're going to measure, now I'm going to measure this and try to determine. So I need just about an inch, maybe ever so slightly more than an inch, maybe an inch and a 1/16 of this piece. So we're going to go with an inch and a 1/16. That piece will go to kind of cover up the fact that my paper was not facing the right direction, because that would bug me. And it's going to go all the way to the edge and just be lined up with the top and bottom edge of this. Okay, so like so. All right, so I don't know, because to be completely honest and forthright with you, I did not read through all the directions for this project recipe. So it could be that I am off my rocker and everything would have been fine if I had just followed the directions. But I didn't want all that extra paper going to waste. It's almost a full sheet of paper that wouldn't have been really used if we had cut it the way that the instructions said to cut it. So it is what it is, right? Okay, so we're going to, I'm just noticing which way the highlights on these bubbles are going so that I can make sure as I put this into my layout that the highlights on the bubbles are going the right direction. So like this. We're going to put that even with the border that's already shown on our paper. Aha, you know what? I don't need this right here. So here's another way when you add adhesive where you don't want it. This is another way that you can deal with it. Use your powder, the powder that you have that makes stickers not sticky anymore, and just dab that on that adhesive until it's not sticky anymore. Okay, the reason I needed to do that is because that corner is going to overlap on this mat and I don't want it to be sticky. I want to be able to put a picture underneath it. So that will fix it. Here I go flipping cardstock again to add adhesive. Crazy. All right. This I'm going to need a little bit of guidance on. Just trying to look and see how high off the bottom this needs to go. So it's roughly 3/4 of an inch, maybe a generous 3/4 of an inch from your bottom edge. Okay, and then this one is going to be a generous 1/8 of an inch away from this mat, and probably about an inch and 1/4 higher. Okay, so this corner, and this corner are adhered down. This one is loose, so that I can then take this mat and put it underneath and make it even on this side with that outside of the mat level or edge. Okay, and that'll go down right there. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, now we need some embellishments, and we need to figure out where to put those dots. So they've got lots of dots kind of sprinkled generously all over the base portion, the base pages of the design. So we're just going to use, you could use your precision dot adhesive, this guy right here. You could use this, and that would make it super easy. You could use also in conjunction with that your lifter stick, and that would definitely help to do those dots. I'm going to wait to do the dots till I have my embellishments figured out, and then we're going to have some fun dotting our page. So let's take a look at the embellishments that we have for this collection before we just jump into our stickers. let's look at these because I haven't pulled them out to look at them yet, and we need to know what we have to work with, right? All right, so we have some outdoor lighting, which is cool, but not what we want for this particular layout. We have dive into the party, which I kind of like. We have some cool circles. Those look like lights, water. We've got bubbles. The water sort of resembles the Border Maker cartridge that goes along with this collection. So that's kind of cool. So I like all of those. Those would be fun, and they would make nice anchors for a title. Maybe that title, maybe a different one. I don't know. But that would be kind of cool to use somewhere. Might be a little big. Let's see. We could also use it with this one, and it would be a little bit easier because you can see through it. So something to think about. Let's open this next one. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, we've got bubbles. Look at those big, beautiful bubbles. So fun. My little people that I watch and babysit would just love those. That would make a really cute anchor for a title. Poolside Paradise. And we've got more lights, outdoor lighting. We've got some chaise lounges. Nice. Perfect. Okay. Those are fun. And then let's check out this last pocket. See what's in here. Oh my goodness, a floaty that looks like a swan. Isn't that darling? Very cute. We've got another base. Pool vibes. Ooh, we have a black swan. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? We've got some lanterns, and we have a Splash Bash title, which is super cute also. Okay, then on the stickers, again with the different bright colors, which I think are really, really nice, and they would pick up lots of the colors from this paper that we used and be nice. We've got Poolside is my best side, a splashing good time, pool hair don't care, to infinity pool and beyond, it says. Hot tub and warm hearts, dive in, Poolside Paradise, sun swim repeat, make a splash, swim and sip, just floating around, heat wave pool days. Soak up the fun, good times and tan lines, just floating around, and lots of bubbles. Okay, so lots of really neat titles that we could use. I'm really liking this Splash Bash that we've got right here. Let's notice where they've got the embellishing. So they've got some embellishing right in here. They've got some embellishing underneath this photo at the top here. Some embellishing underneath this photo over here. A little between these two, and some journaling on some strips down here. Journaling on strips is a great idea, especially if you're working on a darker piece of paper like this is on darker paper. So then a black pen is not going to show up very well. If you use those strips, they come in very handy and enable you to go ahead and journal to your heart's content. Alright, so we've got those guys. We've got this guy. I'm liking the Splash Bash. That's kind of fun. Let me tuck this under again so that we can see the layout a little bit better. And let's see, I like these lanterns too, but I don't know if we will end up using them or not. That's going to be determined. So if we put Splash Bash down here, then we would probably move into some of these. What could we use down here? Maybe something like that. We could do like that. We could do This is hard to do without photos on my page, so bear with me here just a second, because trying to decide what to put together when I don't have photos to inspire can be a little tricky. Alright, I'm going to pull out, this is just an empty paper from the back of my my foam squares, and that makes a good place to park my clusters as I'm creating them, so that I can take a look at what else I want to do. I want to add some to this guy down here. Well, let me add a little bit of repositionable adhesive. Whoa. My big adhesive gun is having issues right now. I think it's time to change the cartridge. When I get down low in that, it becomes a little bit of a battle. Okay, we're going to put a float on this side and a hat on this side. Similar colors, so they will kind of balance each other a little. At least that's my thought. Maybe we'll turn that so that it's a little bit more in line. That is not sticking because I didn't get enough adhesive. Do you ever have one of those days where you just are tossing stuff around? Okay, I'm gonna get a refill on my repositionable adhesive. Alright, so we're just going to add more adhesive. That'll help. Okay, so like that. Like that. And then what if we come in here with something colorful? Let's use our lemonade and our, I don't know what kind of drink that is, but we're going to go with maybe, I don't know, Shirley Temple that's been modified. We'll see. Okay, that's going to go like that. All right, now I'm going to turn this over so that I'm going to add some foam squares to this so that it will pop up and be noticed, because it's our kind of our title for the page. Oh, and I just noticed I had a little teeny piece that didn't come off when I pulled that sticker. So grab that. Put some tiny little foam squares on there. And some other sized ones here in the middle. Alright. And now I'm going to use my powder to dust this so that my stickers don't stick down where I don't want them to. Always leaves a pattern on my paper. Alright, I'm going to not peel that top one just in case it's going to stick up over my photos or into my mat, you know, so that I can slide my photo behind it. I'm also going to not peel the sticky off the top of these little drinks right here either. Okay, that way I can just go ahead and center that. Put it down there and not worry about it after that. Okay, so there's that one. We are going to, let's see, jump over here, and I think I'm going to put that one right there, and then I don't know that I'm going to add any more, because I don't know, might need a little something right up in there. But let's go ahead and do a foam square on this guy so that he'll be lifted up and be able to not stick to photos if we don't want them to stick to photos. Okay. So we're going to dust this guy too. Gonna have to get my alcohol wipes out and clean my mat. Okay, so what are we doing here? Actually, I can adhere if I move it off to the side enough, but I'm not going to do this one. So we'll do the big one and the ones on the top and the bottom of it. We're going to not do the one under the towels. Okay. And then this right here, I'm not going to pop up, but I do like it. I do like that together, so I'm going to just not add any adhesive to these edges so that they can overlap. Let's see. That way we can tuck things under it and it'll still be okay. But my finger is stuck to that sticker again. Boy, it really likes me. Okay, so we're going to place this right here, and actually I think I'm going to move it. No, I want it to touch this one, and it's going to touch that one and just be a little high. So that we can still place a photo underneath there. See, like that, and over here too. All right, good to go. Okay, so now the only thing we have left are these bubbles. So I'm just going to have some fun placing some bubbles, and I'm going to place my big ones first. It's kind of the rule of the pebbles. Are you familiar with that? Where you put the big things in first, and then the next size up, and then the next size up, and then you can fit all kinds of things. So I'm just going to use my lifter stick. It's going to come in very handy with this. One more. Then that one I'm going to actually do something smaller. Okay. So then I'm going to come in here with another one. More dots. Oh, wrong thing. We're going to do some smaller dots. I got some adhesive on my finger. Where'd the other one go? There it is. know if I'm going to do any of the teeny tiny ones, but I might come back in and add more. So check this against the thumbnail that you see on this video and see if I added more. But definitely there will be some more down here and some over here for the bubbles. All right. I hope this has been fun for you. It is super fun for me, and I'm excited to put on as many of these bubbles as I think are gonna look nice. I don't want to overdo it too much, but I am going to add a few more of the teeny ones in there just for good measure, and then we'll be done. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.